Welcome everyone to this Q&A session with one of our leader alumni. It is great to have Phill Thomas join us today. I am Anand Safi, and I will be leading the Q&A session with Phill today. I am one of the mentors at Leader here, and I am an engineering leader for a public safety SaaS company. So, Phill, welcome to the show. Really excited to have you here. I would love to start by introducing you. And I think one of your main achievements, actually, that we wanted to highlight in terms of your leadership aspect was your setup of a performance team with agile processes and how it went from a year segment project to MVP phase in just 4 months' time, and as well as also building a subsequent plan to iteratively increment value with a comprehensive roadmap. So, congratulations on this stellar achievement. I'll hand it over to you, Phill, for a quick introduction.
Yeah, thank you. So I, like many leaders in tech, started out as a full stack developer and worked my way through over 10 years of different stacks up until the point where I have, I've been invested in by companies I worked with, thankfully, and had the opportunity to really develop my leadership skills and have had, as you said, very good experience recently. So thank you.
Perfect. Great. Yeah. Without further wasting time, let's get to the questions part. I'm sure there are some great things in there that our viewers and listeners would love to know from you. Starting with my first question, what's your favorite content and why? And content could be anything like a book, blog, podcast, anything that you would recommend, and why would you choose that thing?
So recently, not recently, I've discovered over the last year or so a YouTube channel that I really like, which is called Veritasium. So it's,
Okay.
I think I think he's a physicist who does amazing pieces about complex topics, especially around math and physics, which I love because it keeps me challenged, to expand my mind's horizons, which I love.
That's amazing. I did not know of that. So I'm in for a treat actually after this. Thank you for recommending that.
Sure.
Great. Along continuing that favorite trend, what's your favorite working app currently? Whether it's a tool like a note-taking thing or just a productivity hack thing, what would be your favorite working app currently?
So I don't tend to tie myself to any specific app because it really depends on the project you're working on. I currently enjoy indulging my OCD with proper Jira configurations, but I also love my WebStorm IDE. Even though I've heard really good things about VS Code, which incidentally I'm also keen on trying out GitHub Companion. So that only works for
Mm,
VS Code right now.
that's great to know actually. GitHub Companion, perfect, nice. And then moving on to the leadership aspect. So would you consider your reference leader? Why? And then what is that one thing that you have learned from them? And here leadership is really not tied to a professional leader, somebody like Steve Jobs, but also could be anyone in your network, even somebody in your family, friend circle, anyone actually that you consider as that reference leader.
So I've never really thought in terms of one particular person as a holistically inspirational. I think everyone is composed of shades and bright spots, but I do try to analyze and learn and grow from the virtues of many of the people that surround me. I've had the privilege of being in presence of both very good but also very bad examples of leadership throughout my life, and both have helped me build a reference system around what leadership means.
Awesome. Yeah, I echo 100% in terms of only over time you realize that your idea of a leadership that you saw in someone was probably not the right portrayal, actually. And there's a lot of learning lessons of what is good and what could be constructive or could be improved upon. So, great call out there. For someone who is wanting to be a leader or who's trying to become successful, especially the fact that you have gone through that journey, what is that number one skill that you would recommend someone to become a successful leader in the technology space?
Yeah, so I believe that the leader in tech is not much different than a leader in any other sector, as far as my experience has taught me. But for me, the number one skill for any leader is to have I would state it as selfless self confidence, which does sound contradictory at first because the the word self is in self confidence, but it
Hmm.
just means confidence without ego. So a leader needs
Yeah.
to believe in his or her leadership without coupling it to his or her own self worth.
Got it. Yeah, it's great call out actually. It's the selfless aspect is important, especially when you are in a conversation. It should not appear that it's for your own self-interest actually. So I really, yeah, really get what you're saying and great recommendation. Especially because you are in the tech space actually, anything particular that you like being a leader in the technology space? I know you said like it's a much more uh, I would say discipline agnostic aspect, but especially just anything that makes you feel special that you would call out just being a leader in the tech space.
Yeah, so mainly the capacity to impact people, right? The creativity that is involved in the entire process, from the product itself and its target customers, which you can influence and have and build an awesome experience for the customers, to also the creative ways of creating funnels and processes that optimize. The team's involvement and also alleviates tensions of the development lifecycle and impacting the happiness of everyone involved in it. My greatest satisfaction, I would say, is making my colleagues' life easier. When I get thanks from someone just because of a process that I start implementing, that is what really makes my day and even my week sometimes.
Yeah, that is such a crucial thing, all the things that you laid out, but it's also really complex and tricky, right? In terms of trying to make a real impact to everyone around you and trying to alleviate the tensions in the team. So while doing all of these things, what are some of the biggest or what is that biggest challenge that you have faced as a leader actually?
So I would say maybe the struggle of prioritizing business over employees. It's often misunderstood
Mhm.
and misrepresented, and I've seen it generate a lot of pain and frustration. And it's often rooted in the mistrust between the business stakeholders and its employees.
Yeah, I think clarity and alignment, like those two things are really, really important. They're not kind of disassociated. They should kind of just go hand in hand in terms of the business goals versus employee satisfaction and morale. So yeah, again, thanks for laying that out actually. So what is your takeaway from that experience that you just shared?
So I believe that an environment where trust is the baseline in a work environment, it will always be healthier than one where trust kind of needs to be gained and unlocked. And especially, keeping in mind that both trust and mistrust reap what they sow, and they generate, a feedback loop. So that was my biggest takeaway from that.
Yeah, trust is at the core of any functional or productive team. So definitely recommend the trust equation to people if they don't know, but just building trust or gaining trust is really important right from the start, actually. So we talked about the skill that leaders should be aware if they want to become successful. But for really young aspiring leaders, what is that one single tip that you would suggest actually that they take into account?
So for me personally, this is very personal. Obviously, for me personally, it's believing in oneself, believe in yourself, believe in your intentions, and hopefully, you don't want to lead in order to prove anything to yourself or to others, but because you genuinely believe that you're adding value, especially to the people that you are leading. So I really believe in servant leadership.
That is great call out again. Yeah, totally agree with what you said. The fact that you went through the Ignite Leader program and then you have had these great experiences. What was your motivation to join the Ignite program actually? Why did you join this particular program?
So I was lucky enough to be part of a cohort of leaders at my company, into which my company decided to invest and foster, their growth. And I couldn't be any more thankful and honored to have been part of it.
That is great actually, especially when employers are figuring out the tools or mechanisms they need to provide leaders to be successful in their roles. Really, really great to hear that your company decided to invest in the the skill building and just up leveling of the leaders there. Great. So once you joined the program actually and you went through the journey, what was that thing that you liked the most about the Ignite program on how it was structured or how it was conducted?
So I love that it is sort of a leadership sandbox, and it's sort of a safe space in which to exercise the growth mindset. And it lowers the barrier to allow oneself to attempt, stumble, fall, fail, and learn, which is the most important part of attempting, stumbling, failing, falling, and failing is learning. And all while being surrounded by a team of other leaders who are trying to do the same thing, and from whom you can also learn, as well as having an amazing leader, an amazing mentor like Alvaro Moya in my case.
Yeah, always great. I've had a couple of conversations, really, really great. And I think th this is probably the essence of growth, that the psychological safety that it brings. And I think you pointed out here, right, that there is a psychological safety present at all times, that you could embrace your growth areas and just kind of work at your own pace, but there was always belief and support given to you actually. So really, really love that. So I think on that note, that's definitely going to be more and more aspiring leaders who will be thinking to take upon these programs or join Ignite. Actually, what would be your message or takeaway to say to this aspiring leaders that are thinking to join Ignite?
Yeah, growth is, growth itself is a process of great cost of opportunity. In your everyday, it's hard to find the opportunity, and it's most likely there for a long term process. Because you need the optimal environment, right, which is scarce. So Ignite, on the other hand, is sort of a petri dish where your growth potential will be fostered, nurtured, and which that will kickstart your leadership skills. So yeah, don't let go of the opportunity.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, folks, there you have it. Coming from Phill Thomas himself, like it's basically a safe space actually where your growth potential will be fostered and nurtured, and will kickstart your leadership journey. So that I think is a perfect way to end this Q&A. That's all I had today, and that's all for now. Thank you very much again, Phill, for joining us and sharing your experience and thoughts as a leader, and especially the Ignite program that you went through. And I'm hoping more and more aspiring leaders will join our Ignite program. So see you everyone soon. Bye.
Bye. Thanks for having me.